Now we come to the fifth day, am I right? Is it fifth day? The fifth day, the sixth day actually, if we count on the day of the first day. So, and then we have 4 days more. I don't know whether that sound depression for you or sound happy for you. It is really up to you. But I'm sure that if you meditate quite stable, you certainly like to stay longer. But if you sometimes you might be still stable, but then you are not satisfied about what you have, then you somehow not feel very, depends. So your mind is up and down, okay? Now I think maybe today I'd like to address several issues that maybe mostly come from the Q&A, either from yesterday or even today. It's, I guess, one of the questions still to some of the people's mind is, what is meditation? Why meditate, okay? Unfortunately, I think lots of people expect, when I say unfortunately, a lot of people expect, don't mean that because for those people who ask a question. But I'm referring to people who, in general, they might have different pictures about meditation, okay? Either people think that for those people who are doing meditation, so a weirdo, the weirdo only do meditation because they're weird. And these people, they don't know how to associate with other persons. That's why, and then they try to escape their life and do meditation. Of course, some people also not necessarily delineate, okay, the meaning of meditation because of people escape their life and they hide themselves in meditation. Because at least they think, okay, fine, these people, they are not very sociable person, but they like just to do meditation, they feel happy, it's better than nothing, okay? But if that's the case about meditations, then I think then from a Buddhist perspective, then we are really going to smash the Buddha face, Because especially if Buddhism, a religion, or if you take that as a religion, that emphasis on actually we should always have the great compassion and great loving to people. Now, how can you define a person's and just because they are not friendly persons, people don't like them, and they felt maybe alienated, they feel alienated, so and then they just run away from the society and then they hide and just meditate. Sure, I have to say frankly to you, some people are like that, and they come for meditation. And also another impression for the people, also people coming gathering to do meditation, you have to prepare your mind to meet a lot of strange people. What do I mean by strange people? It means the mind is very suffering. Maybe they have a lot of problem in their house, with the family, or maybe some other problems. And then of course, and when the people start to come to do meditation, and then they really maybe happen to meet these kind of people, and then their faith, or because they don't understand about Buddha meditation, and then the faith about meditation start to drop. Firstly, they don't know what is meditation already, right? And then when you see this thing happen, then you think, this is almost like a mental hospital now, right? So, that would be another thing. So, like that also. And also other people might be thinking, especially for those people who study Buddhism, and they would think, meditation is it's not normal people can do. You have to be very careful. If you meet the wrong teacher to teach you meditation, you will 走火入魔. You will be mad. You will be gone crazy. And that is also one of the possibility. And I'm sure, as I'm brought up as a Chinese culture, mostly, even not complete as Chinese as Chinese people think. Luckily, I don't want to think like them too. But I mean, because of the, their culture might be changed a little bit. I don't want to say anything about that. But in general, I don't know. So at least, luckily, I brought up in a different way. But at least I come from a Chinese culture too, mostly. And I'm sure when I was younger, if I tell my parents, but now of course my parents don't have problem now, I'll just say before they really understand what meditation is, if I tell them, Mom, Father, Daddy, Mommy, I am going to a retreat now. What kind of retreat? Oh no, just with the classmates, we are going to have fun. Okay, make sure to just be, whatever, all this sort of thing. Especially in America, we say that, maybe they will start to tell you, be careful. You make sure that if something happens, you must remember to use condom, That's sort of question in America is very common, I know. And they would always advise them, be careful, especially the men, right, the men. The women, you will have different advice, I don't know. So anyway, but if you say that, I mean, in Asia in general, the way I brought up, then I would just go out, and fine, make sure that I would be safe, and not to. Then you make sure I was a scout, for example, and then so I was a scout. So and then they will make sure that okay, you really go for the scout, and somebody, adult people, look after you. That's okay. But if you say, Mom and Daddy, I'm going to do meditation. What? Are you crazy? Don't you believe that? Just like people also today told me, I don't know how to go back to tell them. Because people really have so many different ideas about meditation. And that might be include some of you sitting also. What is meditation? So it's really a big picture, very hard to understand. Okay, and what about the other types too? Another type is people who maybe learn Buddhism text, read a lot of Buddhism, work very hard about all the Buddhist texts. And then you say that, even these people, you tell them, I'm going to do meditation, they will say, be careful, okay? And you don't, I hope that you will not, go to yourself to be a problem. So, and then once you'll be stuck in that kind of problem, you have no way to be out of it. So almost like there's no way to encourage you. Really? You have the courage? You can do so? Maybe a little threatening, but at least encouraging. Really? Wow, that's very hard. But you do, yeah, go for it. No. But now look at other side. Nowadays actually, in the psychology or psychotherapists, they use a lot of meditation now. I give you some of the example. Actually, even once I contact to a person, and I was introduced by one of my friends when we were actually in Boston, studied together in the university. And then he told me that because his job actually is intermediate, his PhD thesis actually is written about the dependent co-arising with regard to the intermediate. Okay, mediator, not intermediate. Sorry, wrong. As a mediator. So, and he's actually graduated with that thesis about Buddhist theory from law school. Okay. So he's PhD on law. And this friend now, he's become a professor in the States now. One day I write to him, I ask him, because I know you're working on this, and then do you think that, I maybe want to understand what you are doing like that. So that's why he introduced me, few of the professors are quite famous in America, basically, being the mediator also. I mean, mediator in the law firm, okay? Not this mediator for the spirit, but the law, okay? And then I write to them, and then he was very happy to know me here, and anyway, something like that. So he told me, at least, that, so India mediator, actually, the way he do is that whenever there's any conflict between two companies, when they have anything, so they would do they would let them to settle down their mind first. And they would leave them to go to a different space, maybe a different room, let these two parties, maybe in a separate place, to do a little meditation, of course in a little different, but on the mindfulness on the breathing, and let them to be, settle down their mind. When their mind calm down, it's much easier to talk over the two parties issue, right? When there's anger, the conflict is very hard. So, but anyway, I want to say this, then I told him that it might be good actually we can work a little bit, because I also know some other method beside the mindfulness of breathing might be helping. But anyway, he was very enthusiastic. But now, and anyway, somehow I was busy, so we didn't keep in contact. I want to give you this example, just want to say, of course I also know quite a number, even through the books, and some persons I know that psychology and psychotherapists, they use meditation to cure the mind, right? So somehow, at least in the West, maybe more or less, the concept of meditation, being people doing meditation, is a very positive in a sense, okay? But unfortunately, in Asia, it is also sometimes been depicted as not very positive. Now, I need to say, my understanding sometimes, why? Okay. Why they cannot be a positive sometimes? Because I guess there are so many reasons I won't be able to elaborate all, in my mind, and I don't know whether I remember all even. But for sure, there are something is about, because in the old past, my understanding, there are some other places when they teach meditation, if you go there, the teacher, I'm not here to say about teacher, but basically it could be that they will give you a technique like, the mindfulness of breathing, the in-breath and out-breath technique. And if the person have many different way of thinking, and maybe, for example, he might think, okay, I meditate on the breath, so it will let me to have a supernatural power. Okay, and what happened? If you really meditate on sometimes after, I feel really nice. That's very common to all meditator. Feel really nice. And then he will think, oh, now I'm Nibbana now. And then now I am Nibbana now. And then if it happen to report to the teacher, I'm here not to talk about teacher, but generally more about students. If the teacher really understands, say, no, this is not Nibbana, you just feel something, and he doesn't want to listen. For many reasons. Why? One reason is because he thinks, I have such a good thing. Now maybe my teacher's jealous about me. Okay, yeah, don't be surprised. I have met these people before. And is jealous about me. So that's right, no. Then he would try to deny, because that's a human mind want to attach this kind of good feeling. Okay. And what about the other? And the other is that, oh, I have such a good feeling. And the teacher say, no, you should work on that. I don't want to work on that because this is good feeling. I should be dead like that. And this is the ego grow, ego. All right, that's fine, because it's just people have a different idea, or maybe because the ego. And also there are many more people, they read a lot about Buddhist text. And then he would try to say, look, according to this text, now I'll give you one example. Actually, it's not here. When I was in Taiwan, I don't want to say what, maybe give a little detail, maybe better. According to the text, I might be in the 4 jhana. Why? Because I sit, and now when there's a sound outside, I don't hear it. Now I'm 4 jhana. Then I told them, no, I don't know. Of course, he was just my friend. I would just say, I'm not too sure about that. My understanding may be different. And he doesn't want to hear. Because if I say something, disagree with him, it's almost like, what I'm saying? He didn't want this kind of thing. He rather want to keep, this is very common for human nature, right, too. But unfortunately, it happens even in meditation. So he rather want to keep, no, I have 4 jhana because but then I remember when he said that, then I told him one day, he also mentioned that again because he wanted to show the students around he has 4 jhana. And then one day, because we are kind of good friends, he always come to look for me and just chat a little bit, unfortunately, anyway. And then I find a chance, I would just say, my understanding, even people might experience the jhana like a 4 jhana, but if the jhana was not really last long, and it doesn't really, every time you can access to the jhana, so maybe, then I start to relate a story, what I know, when I was in Sri Lanka, and I start to say the story. Actually, I want to tell him, but not to hurt him, to let him know that, yeah, you might have the experience, even though from the early not necessarily I completely agree, but at least I want to let him know, even though you might have that, but now if you don't, you cannot access all the time, like you can meditate inside and then you don't hear the sound at all, then better not to say that, So, but it is also actually is about modesty, about modesty and so. But then no, there's no way, because that's what they want. Okay, this is actually, just imagine this. If any of you come to do the meditation about the mindfulness of the breath, why I want to always say about breath, because this is most common one people when they learn. If you do the mindfulness of breath, and then imagine, and then only when you go back home, your behavior is always look at people like, oh, that's okay. If you can maintain that even whole life, that's wonderful, actually, I have to say. But even though you're a lay person, and then you can be able to, with this kind of mindfulness or what, and the people don't care, and then you still can have the time to practice. But the problem is not. But then you lost that, you don't know how to do it, and then you get angry with other person. So how people will love the people to go to do meditation? How? There's no way. In other words, we must also try to think, is meditation is something really, really is deviated yourself from the society. Okay? Is meditation is really something deviated yourself from society? Yeah. So you find the answer. Now, actually I did look for the answer for a long time. When I say society, you can be, because when I say the society here, you can be defined as a group, a big bunch of people, or with the family, or with the relatives, or with the friends. But in any rate, so maybe the best to say, is the meditation actually will deal with you from your relationship, with people? Maybe that's what my question. I agree, actually, if you ask me. Some technique is very clear in Buddhism, very clear that you practice that is actually in order to not to attach to the people. I agree that, okay? But now, does another question come? If that's the case, for a lay person like you, and even for the monk, or for the nuns like us, are we going to contact with the people? We stay together here, and do we still have to, based on the lay person, come to our monastery? And all this, how we can deal with it? Do you want to look at, or do the lay person want to look at the monk, even in America, say, like the most cool guy in the world? You know what I mean by cool? I'll show you some. I can do that. Maybe if they ask you a question, Master, I have a question, I have a family problem. Good. But, I need to solve the problem. Good. Yeah. So, do you want to see the monk like that all the time? Right. Sometimes I can understand why the monk had to answer that way also. Because there are people always contact you, telephone, maybe. Anyway, that's another question. But, do you want to see this? Or do you want to see other way? Or do you think the Buddha is like that? Do you think that if you just occasionally, you really want to come to a monastery, and then you go to see the Buddha and imagine that, and you saw the Buddha, look at the Buddhist text, how the Buddha is, you saw the Buddha, you worship the Buddha, you pay respect to the Buddha, say something, nicely, how are you doing? The Buddha say, yeah, I'm doing fine, what about you? And then you start to ask a question, and the Buddha give you the answer. Is all the Buddha like this? Or you imagine the Buddha is that when you look at the Buddha, like in a lot of stories said, I have a problem of this, or I have something question, people have a debate about that, I don't know how to solve that, can you tell me the answer? The Buddha will say, good. Which way? We say that we are one here at least, try to learn from the Buddha. Think about that. So, and what about Buddha? Does he do meditation or not? Or all the time he's in meditation? Now this is my question. If the Buddha was all the time in meditation, and then you say, no, the Buddha not all the time in meditation. The Buddha actually is, no. But of course, if I ask him, that's no way. We all know that, okay? Unless the Buddha is all the time in the samadhi. Right? That's all Buddhist texts say that. So except he's sleeping. Even Buddha sleeping is different from the different other people too. But anyway, so then that gives you answer very clearly. So the meditation is not something deviated yourself from the society, from the relationship. Actually, and if we believe that Buddha is the most powerful person, in our history, that he can convince so many kings to believe in, and then to train so many people have the most healthier mind in the world, then if we believe that the most healthy mind is that because the most healthy mind means he himself very healthy in the mind, mental, and also can give a great benefit to others, then we must believe that the meditation must have the same quality, right? Because all these great persons, if they can do so, it's because through the meditation, they can do so. Unless you think that, no, these people, they meditate, they are the weird person, cool, the most cooler guy, and then you never meet them. They only hide in the forest. If you go to see them, and they hide under the tree. You look for that tree, they hide under the tree. You look for that tree, they hide under the tree, right? Unless that's what you believe. But if you understand that Buddhism is not like that, the Buddha is not like that, even the highly sent, or even those who are really good in the mind is not like that, then you should understand the meditation in a very different way. Okay. What about the other? Of course, there are lots of fancy. Even here, I think there was a time I was walking to the office, and there was a girl just come to the temple here, worshipped, maybe. Anyway, he come to the temple. She saw me walking on there. She asked me, I want to meet a great master. 我要见大师, in Chinese, a great master. Oh, I say, yeah, I say. So, and I didn't even ask why, because I'm going to point her. But then before I want to point her to where she can meet a great master, and then she said, because I want this great master to read my past life. 我要见这个大师，因为我要他看我的前世因果。好。And with the accent, it's very clear to me. It's from China. Okay. It's not Taiwanese. I mean, at least from China. Then I will say, "Oh, I see. You can go to the office there." I told me, go to the office. And oh, really? And then she go to the office. I don't know how the office could tell her. Anyway, that's the office job. That's the job of the office. No, that's the job of the office, you know. And that's another picture of people thinking who are doing meditation also, you know. They will think, perhaps will think if they come to do meditation, but please understand, I'm not here to deny the possibility, but I just want to say, with that kind of intention, right? So now I do meditation, and especially this is my first time in the meditation, and I will be able to see my past life, and I will be flying, and I can if you have that, you know, good to you. But I don't know, you know, but that is not a really very good actually it doesn't give a fair pictures about meditation. So what really, I don't know how about you, what really actually attract you about meditation, I don't know. But certainly, if you ask me, okay, what really attract me for meditation is because the meditation helped me to live easier. Okay. If you ask me, I have lots of problems. I have anxiety sometimes. I'm not happy sometimes. And then also, of course, when I read Buddhist text, there's sometimes something I don't understand. Okay. And that's supposed to be almost like, if you like to use the term profession, we don't. This is our livelihood. Since this is my livelihood, reading the Buddhist text is part of my job. And sometimes I get frustrated, I don't understand. But it is all because I practice meditation, it helped me. Help me less have anxiety, try to be more happy, let my mind be more calmer, and also actually helping me even to understand lots about Buddhist texts, what they're talking about, right? So this is the aim of, that's the reason of meditation. Yeah, what is the meditation included? Meditation might be included lots of things. You know, through meditation, you can be very, you can be very calm. Through meditation, you can focus. You can be establish a samadhi. Through meditation, you can be, established as become more wiser person. Or through meditation, you can sleep better, less headache, better in your health, maybe. And also, it can be maybe you find actually you start to look at the world in a different, and then also through meditation, you become much independent. You don't have to rely on what people telling you. Like, you become much independent. You can be able to easily to distinguish what is right, what is wrong. You can be much able to control your emotion. Tell me what is a bad thing. They might have is, if you're stubborn, that's not meditation, okay? I don't want to say that. If there's any risk, I guess, depends on the method. It might be in general, if there's any risk, maybe the risk is sometimes when you're too attached to it, right? And then you might be ignore some other society, some other thing. Now, that's how in general about the meditation. Now we back to this method now. In this force of light abiding, because I just mentioned, if there's a risk, I'm not going to say about people who are not really following meditation. That's out of the question. But we're saying that maybe you learn some other technique, and some technique will makes you feel much more attached to the method, and then you might start to ignore your family, ignore something else. But this, on the contrary, not in this method. And this is why the wonderful of the force of light abiding meditation method. Okay. I didn't say this story actually maybe last time, but I also say this story actually today with a group. You know, just like one of the shock I had in the past, there are many, but that's still at least in my mind. It's, you know, like I was invited in a house, and then of course that the guy, the household, he's actually very into meditation. But actually his wife is much more into in like a general practice in Buddhism, like chanting the Buddha and, you know, chanting the, you know, the Chinese, chanting the Buddhist text. But the guy was really into meditation. Every day he has to really fix a time. I don't know when he fixes time, but at least that's what he said, like he would do meditation every day, try to do meditation every day. And then when I arrived at the house, of course the main purpose, he invited me to go there. So he went to show, then I have almost like a personal time. And he will ask me, how am I sitting? Do I sit it rightly? Can you correct my posture? And he has a question about how to practice some meditation on the breath. Okay, that's what he practiced. And then I would just, you know, tell him something, we talk about a little bit. And then, you know, that's very common. And then the two kids is very young, just all are still primary school, you know, kids. Maybe one is 10 years old, maybe one is about 8 years old, like that, you know. And they saw me, they know me a little bit already before. So then, you know, we just talk and then show, you know. And then this kid, you know, so once you are not attended to them, and the kid would just really like making noise and that. And I guess the father felt embarrassed because how can, you know, the house is so noisy and I'm still doing meditation and he feel nervous. So that's why the father was very angry and shout at the children. So like, don't you see that I was doing meditation? So how can I go other side, you know, and so something like that. So I don't know, maybe to some, I don't know how other people think, but to me really was surprised by that. So I could understand people lost their temper if they're their own business, but you know, that's very common when in a house, right? When the guests here, you start to be nicer to your children. That's why the children know how to become much naughty, right? They are smart kids. The kids are very smart. But don't be surprised by that. Don't think you're an adult, you don't do that. I'm here, I see a lot. Same thing. A lot of adults just like kids. You know what I'm saying? No? You don't get it now? You want me to say more clearly? So anyways, and when there's in certain circumstances, they think, oh, now I can be, you know, kind of like, you know, become kind of more naughty. It's fine. So I'm saying this, but then you can imagine, I'm there, and the father will still get angry. So that shows one thing very clear. The father have completely misunderstand the purpose of meditation. Right? Maybe that's how he did normally, but when a monk there who supposed to guide him a little bit about meditation, at least you be trying not to be angry. When this monk left, you know, at least he tried that, right? That meaning at least he somehow know meditation is not that. But he didn't think it that way. And this is just, it's not happening to one person, but I met several. But just take this as one example. So actually, so on the contrary, you know, you're supposed when you meditate, you can be much more patient to your kids, to people. I don't know why, but on the contrary, he gets so angry, right? All right, and of course, then I also try to think about that also, because I have seen this in many occasions, and I also been in a certain place, and I found that people also, the more they practice meditation, sometimes the mind is up, down, up, down, up, down. And sometimes you really have to be very careful. Don't meddle with him. You could feel he almost want to kill you. So now, please let me say this again. Now, I don't want you to hear this. After hearing it, and think, oh, that's why the meditation is bad. No. I want to correct this statement again. Not correct. I want to pull you to think something again. That is not the purpose of meditation. It's because people have the wrong concept about meditation. That is very clear. These people attach to only he himself or herself happy. Okay. Let me say that again. But that's all right. Maybe at time it's a challenge, but that is not meditation. All right. Right, but if you, that's one of the great reasons too why then I thought to teach force of line abiding will be better. Because when you practice force of line abiding, you have to visual individual. May you be well and happy, right? And then when you open your eyes, you see the people, you have to may you be well and happy. So when you hear the noise, people making noise, may you be well and happy. Because you don't want yourself have the anger, right? So when you practice compassionate mind, when the people are suffer, you will not think, "Geist." No, you don't have that. I don't know how to say "Geist" in English. You deserve it, you know. Yeah. But actually, don't be surprised. Sometimes I do have that kind of mind, not action. When I'm so angry with somebody, not so angry when I'm angry with somebody. When the people suddenly become that, I will feel, you deserve that. You know? But anyway, it's a truth. It's a truth that if you have the compassion to the people, you don't have that mind. You just feel sorry. You might feel a little bit embarrassed. Oh yeah, it's okay. No, and you know, yeah, you just maybe walk away, or at least you do meditation or whatever. At least for a second or 2 seconds, right? Or or may I be free from enmity, or may he or she will be out of the suffering soon, and then that's how it changes. So this is the purpose of meditation, and especially if you practice the force of line abiding. Now, I hope that now you know the purpose of coming here, and maybe some other people say, "That's it?" No, of course not. That's all. Not that. More than this. But if you cannot work on this, I don't believe. However much you tell me, I'm a great meditator, but you are the most evil person at home, I won't believe it. There's no way to lie for people who know the thing. Okay? Right? No. But I have to warn you too. From after when you finish a meditation, go back home, you have many work to do. That it's a fortunate thing for you. But maybe at first you find, if I don't learn this meditation, maybe my life will be better. There's no way. But you might feel uneasy at first because you have to change your way of communication, and your way of concern, and your way of mutual reaction, interaction. It's called mutual interaction to each other. And this is how you change your karma. Karma means your action, your mind. Start from your mind, because when you initiate with a good mind, you started to follow with your good mind, and you always get a good result. When you start to initiate with a bad mind, and then you follow with the mind, and then you always have the bad karma, and then you always have the bad result. The most easier to see the good result and the bad result is when you started with have a good mind. Maybe you say, "May you be well and happy," and the people say, still don't like you, show you the face, but you still have that. Why I say you have a good result? that person didn't change, but at least you change because you feel joyful, you're doing a good duty because just wish the people be nice. And then you feel nice, you can go to talk to your friend, can we have a tea together? Nice conversation, happy conversation, right? Rather than if you don't have this kind of mind, you don't check your mind, when the people show the long face, you get angry, you maybe have a quarrel, you maybe still telephone to your friend, shall we have a tea? Your friend maybe, okay, I'm not free, but no, you told me you're free today. Oh, okay. So they have a tea. When they have a tea, that person is so bad. Yeah, so and the friend tell you, oh, calm down. Now you have a tea. Look at this beautiful place, nice environment. You don't see anything. You only see anger, and that's why the bad karma. When you have initiated with a bad mind, you carry with that kind of bad mind, then you have a bad karma to yourself. Don't have to think, wait your next life. Right now, don't. Right now, you carry that. Carry, right? So this is one of the very important method. You become sensible about your feelings and become sensible about how other people react as well. How you react to others too. So, there are lots of classes to teach you how to have a good relationship, manage your emotion, manage your tempers. I did read those books in the past. I always find them, it's good. But this is down to earth, straightforward in your mind. Okay? And you're working on it. So this is very important if you know that you're learning this method. And also I need to wanted to add one more. When I decide that how to practice this method, I do decide it for different scheme, the main scheme, of course, is that I don't emphasize you must be able to have the form appear, and then you have a powerful jhana, and blah, 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 blah. No. If you have, that's why we have old student and new student. We are going to talk this and differently. But my emphasis is very important because it's that you have the loving kindness mind and how long you can last for that. And you have compassionate mind, how long you can last for that. You have the joyful mind, how long you can last for that, and so on. That's my emphasis. I'm sure everybody agree, right? That's what I was trying to emphasize. And also with the proper method. Because only this way you start to transform your mind, okay? But if I say, look at the front, you will have power, you will have, and maybe somehow you still transform your mind with this wonderful technique, the force of light abiding, but your attention might become wrong. And then you will lost the bigger pictures and you only focus on small pictures. The small picture is that I'm powerful. I can meditate this. And you think it's no problem? Our human is very interesting. Here is fine. When you go back home, you see the people, I can see this. You don't. Where our loving kindness? Where our compassion? Where's our joy? And because these people had developed this focus already, maybe because at that time after practice, they focus on breath, they still have the power, but the mind become hard, their state. That's why the direction is very important. So what is the biggest picture is really important. Very important. Yeah, you have the focus, you develop that already, but you still don't know what is the big value. Another thing I need to mention, some people, when they meditate also, because they feel, I meditate for the group of people, I meditate for the all direction is much comfortable, and they could be refused to meditate on individual. If you know the meditation, this method very well, generally for those people who refuse to meditate individual, these people, they don't want to face individual. They try to escape them. Okay? They try to escape that. Because why? They just want to feel nice. I am nice, I will be fine. I don't care what you are. I am nice. And these people, they think they can lie to people, deceive the people. No, other people see that. And it is a meditation? I'm sorry. I don't think so. Okay? So that's the reason why, actually even I remember some monk in the past did say that also. He said, some monks, they don't agree actually to teach meditation for the all direction for beginner, because they also raise a voice and warn that if the people do the all direction and they always just feel like, oh, I'm nice, but actually they don't want to face their own individual problem. Okay. But I see the point. I did see that point in the past, but I didn't see that more clearly. But when you look at the most of the Buddhist text, okay, especially if my understanding, especially the Chinese, always, not even Chinese, actually even in Tibetan too, almost always talk about meditate on the individual. More emphasis than the all directions. Okay, maybe your question would be, then if that's the case, but then why I still, like my way of leading this method is that we have to go through all this. That's how humans are so many types, The reason why, because some people, when they meditate on the individual, they cannot meditate quite well. And so if you shift yourself to meditate and other stage, which is supposed to be, in general, is difficult, but it's not true also, as I just mentioned. Because some people actually, the most difficult is the individual, because the personality is always selfish, mostly. More selfish, tend to be more selfish. If I'm happy, no matter. If I'm in down, no matter. But that's very clear to me. When people tell me, I don't like to meditate, I know very well. And so that's the reason why I want to say, when the people, if you go on this group and then you go on this all direction, it is supposedly to be much more difficult. But some people, they can tackle that much easier. And once they do that, because the mind should be much more relieved from the anger. You know what I'm saying? When the mind much more relieved from the anger, it should be much easier for the person to be back to meditate on individual easier. That's the reason. Otherwise, maybe people, if they find difficult to meditate on the individual, they might be struggle longer time to have a breakthrough on meditate on individual. Okay? You get it now? So that's the reason why I think that would be best to do this. I always give a simile, like when people learn in the Kung Fu, and then in the old day, people teach you what they would teach you when you learn the Kung Fu. You need to learn how to stand firm on the ground and stand there, not to move, And then, but I also said the story, I think, did I? Last time? I mentioned the story. And then some people could be, stand there for 2 years and they get fed up, they give up. But I myself prefer the way, actually, if that's possible, you should learn almost, unless there's high technique, much more advanced, not for the first time learner, you should learn like a Tai Chi. When the Tai Chi, they have like 108 style, right? So in old day, maybe some teacher don't teach you the Tai Chi this way, because it's not like nowadays. The Tai Chi is kind of like, depends, I guess. Sometimes because of business as well. If I don't teach 108 together, people don't pay me the money. So, but in tradition, in some tradition, they don't. They only teach you one style. They correct you one style. Everything detailed. You have to be correct in this. Do you know that? Anyone here learn Tai Chi before? Anyway, all right, yeah. But in America, I know it's not. They would mostly teach you all. So you just do the Tai Chi 108 again. You may be not right in here and there. Sometimes it's like a dancing actually, not Tai Chi. But at least you're moving and dance, and you do that 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But the more you do, the more you later on will understand actually one style to be correct is also very important, but you will pay more attention and you have much more sense. You know. And then also, because you learn 108 styles, I always joke this. So just like people play the Kung Fu, they learn quite a lot of the style. Yeah, maybe not necessarily very strong in their kick, in the punch, or in their pinning down, the form, not very strong, but they know at least some people who are weak come to attack you, you know how to settle the problem, right? Right? If you only say, I learn Kung Fu, but only one style, just one punch. But I've been learning 1 year, and the teacher asked me to correct me all the time, the puncher to be powerful. Yeah, I don't know. So it's very, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So actually sometimes when you learn whole thing, not whole thing, like almost the whole thing is helping you to recognize what is important to be consolidated in the later state, okay? This is one. I hope that this talk at least solved your question of what is the purpose of meditation and why sometimes in the meditation you have to also start with the individual again and again. You know, otherwise we can hear, I can just say jump that. No, I only ask you to jump the hostile person if there's one, because you have to still, when you meet people you don't like, when you face a problem, you are not doing this, may all of you be happy. No. You still have to want to put the people face, meditate here, and deal with it. And that deal with it is not only because you, it is also because you have to start to learn also somehow when you meditate longer, why these people anger. Is it my fault or because his fault? Right? Not like ignore it. I don't want to think about it. Maybe some people think I don't want to think about it, I'm fine. Trust me, I did that before. You'll never find. The karma always here. If you don't solve earlier, it carry you longer time. This is how I recognize. Do you think that I really like to deal with people? No. I'm not that kind of deal with people means, for example, people I don't like, and sometimes I find that those people are hostile person, or sometimes I find these people who are, do you think I like it? No way. But I will deal with it. Why? Because I know if I don't do, my karma still carry on. No. Don't think I like it. No, no way. But only when you deal with it, and using this is one of the powerful method. I guess in Samadhi, it's the most powerful method. If you can deal with it, you solve the problem right now. There was a time I was really angry with one person. And then sometimes the worst thing is when you're angry, you got no way to score the people. In Buddhism, anyway, next time I maybe explain that. In Buddhism, when you say anger, we have almost like some anger, there were 3 levels of anger. So in our mind, okay? But some type of anger is very big, but they also can go away quite easy. For example, when you walk on the street, if somebody punk on you, you get very angry. You have a bag, maybe you drop a bag. You will ask them, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Right? And then maybe whatever the maybe the guy run away already, or maybe he walked very fast. You just take your bag up, you walk, and you forget, right? But of course, some people are still angry, but I mean say in general, right? That's why I say this kind of anger, it sounds very big, but you can easily just shout it and then they go. But to Buddhism, the worst anger is the very tiny. So you don't like that person, and the person keep on doing the thing for you again and again and again and again and again. And at first you don't know how to release it, of course, because no mindful, whatever, and no method. And again and again, so you just get like heavy. So once I have that problem, and that's why at that time my stomach is not good. I always have a stomach problem, gastric problem, and easily get like no appetite because of gastric, according to the medicine I watch, and also not only gastric, and also feel my digestion system is getting weak. I knew something wrong, really. At least that was my case. And one day I was fortunate in the meditation, and as I say, I tried to ignore. I thought, I don't care the person, I don't mind about him, I don't mind that person, I'm fine. But you still know your mind sometimes, whenever you think about it, you just get, emotion comes. So I don't know how about you, I'm just talking about myself, okay? So, and what happened is that there was a time, actually it was the last retreat, right? And I have a time to meditate at least. And I was just sitting meditate, and I could feel my stomach aching again. And I was thinking, anyway, I wasn't thinking, I was just observing my stomach. I didn't understand why my stomach was aching. I was just, why my stomach was aching? And then I just stopped, and suddenly I was kind of like, there's a person, that person which I don't like, I just mentioned, I was angry with, in my mind, appear. And I look at it, and I was just like a loving kindness smile. I was just like, I immediately identified this as a hostile person, the most hostile person to me. And of course, immediately also because at least I've been training this way, right? And I was just like, may you be well. And I didn't even say it, just like a mind go there, and it dissolved. And then, for so long time, I never feel my stomach is so healthy. Really, for so long time, I never felt my stomach was so healthy. And at that time, I really believed that, no. Yeah, I always see something here and there, but that was a big, because my stomach like hike, And there was a time I really know, no, if you don't solve the problem, it's always there. Especially if it somehow come to your mind already. It's always haunting you, okay? So that's one thing I want to say. And before ending, the last thing is that about walking meditation. So we must understand, you can still, while doing walking meditation, either you can do the walking meditation as I just mentioned before. That's the best way actually for you to learn how to observe your posture, begin with the footstep, right? And then you become a very decent, elegant person. Not like this. There are some people like this, whenever they walk, they go bang, they're bang, no. They always like lose some kind of mind. You become very sensible. You're aware of this. You also know whatever happened around you. You also know very well. You become eyes become very sharp, very aware. You're also not judging or a so dirty person. You just know dirty. That's fine, And he's happy. You're happy. That's great. I'm saying that means you become a very aware, and then also become a decent person. That's why usually a good meditator, you can see the way he walks. It's not like losing the mind like a monkey. No. It's very, he knows, because he knows everything. His footstep, his finger, he know very well. Now my fingers keeping this way. Now my finger keeping that way. My head is this, my head is there. So I'm walking this, I'm walking more relaxed. Now I'm walking more like straight. Now how my footsteps. So these people actually, that's the reason why even during the story that people when they far away to see the Buddha or see like Sariputta and Moggallana before they enter the Buddhism, when they saw the Buddha, they were surprised. They saw the disciple of the Buddha, the student of Buddha, they were surprised how these people can walk so serene, you know. So, and then that start with the walking meditation. So you become a kind of person with the mindful. You don't always like, you know, messy and then look like something you lost, you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? If a meditator tell you I'm a Greek meditator, but he always like no, he's very clear what's happening. So that's all because of mindfulness. And the best way to develop mindfulness is through your walking meditation. Of course, once you develop that quite all right, you can still, like what we just read the text last time to set, then you still can do walking meditation and still practice the form, sunlight, abiding too. Okay? All right. Okay, that's ending for today's talk, and have a happy practice. Have 10 minutes break and back here to form the 4 groups. Okay? Right. Thank you.